What would this show be if we didn't start with the latest, greatest, salacious Rudy Gobert trade rumors? And I don't know, and maybe this is a little too strong, but I am surprised that there is so much buzz around the NBA with Rudy Gobert trade rumors, and that the Jazz have been able to ask a king's ransom in return for their big man. And Jake, I guess the question is, are the Jazz asking too much in return for Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, I think that the Jazz, obviously they're able to ask for whatever they want to ask for. Certainly, that's part of doing business. But I do think they're asking for too much. I do think that expecting to get two players and some picks is definitely aggressive. Now, obviously, it depends on what two players specifically you're asking for. But like in Atlanta, as an example, asking for John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and two picks, specifically with one of those picks being a first rounder potentially, that's a lot of value for Rudy Gobert. Now, I don't blame the Jazz for asking. It's their job to ask. Have the teams say no and counter you. I'm a big believer in that. Ask for what you want. And if the other side doesn't want to give that, they need to counter. So I'm a big believer in that strategy. But I just think that, again, as we've talked about so many times, this league is not a big man league anymore. Yes, we have some very talented bigs. Yes, you've got a big who won the MVP, but they are different kind of bigs than Rudy Gobert is, with all due respect. Those guys, Nikola Jokic is a mobile big. Joel Embiid is a mobile big. Karl Anthony Towns is a mobile big. Those guys can do a lot more things athletically than Rudy can, again, with all due respect. So when I look at Rudy's game and I look at how he kind of goes about things, I don't think he's on those guys' level. And the point I'm getting at is if you were trading, Jokic or Embiid, okay, yeah, two all-star level players, two picks, preferably one of those being a first rounder. All right, yeah, that's totally justified. And I think, whoever you're negotiating with would be on the same page about that. But this is kind of what I was alluding to yesterday. The Jazz are going to go ahead and ask for as much as they want to ask for. The problem is that the league doesn't view Rudy the same way the Jazz view Rudy. And that's kind of the issue you're going to continue to run into, on top of the money issues we've been over, on top of the fact that you don't have draft picks that you can negotiate with. So that's why I say it's not going to be super duper easy to get a deal done. That said, I do think a deal is going to get done. They need to move him in order to get to the next phase of the I'm not calling it a rebuild, but a retool, if you will. So yeah, I think a deal will get done, and it's just going to come down to where both sides of the phone come down on Rudy's value.
Yeah, and I don't know if there is such a thing as asking for too much. I mean, we're all adults in the room. Like you can say no.
Right.
I'm very much of the mindset that you have to say no. And the news yesterday was that the Bulls have told the Utah Jazz that Patrick Williams is not available in a trade for Rudy Gobert, and Ayo Dosunmu is also not on the table in those conversations. And that makes total sense. It was a little surprising that the Chicago Bulls would entertain a Rudy Gobert for Patrick Williams deal. I mean, that being the core of a deal. Obviously, Vucevic is going to have to be in that deal. But the Chicago Bulls also have the 18th pick in the upcoming draft. And I do think that, as we've talked about on this show, the Jazz want draft capital in return because they don't currently have a pick in this draft. And, you would like to be in the top 15 in this draft. I mean,
yeah.
But 18 is pretty darn good, right? I mean, if you could get, I don't know what it would take to make a deal with the Bulls. I don't see it's likely. I think as the days go on, it is going to come down to the Atlanta Hawks and their willingness to include DeAndre Hunter in that deal. But one of the things that really concerns me, Jake, about a deal with the Atlanta Hawks is they really want the Utah Jazz to take Clint Capella back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm not so inclined to take Clint Capella back. I again will say, if I'm the Utah Jazz, I want John Collins and I want DeAndre Hunter and I want a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And if that deal happens, let's do it. Because I think the Jazz do need to be back in this draft. I think it is important to either make a pick or trade the pick, but you need leverage in the NBA draft to operate at the highest levels in this league. And if I'm the Utah Jazz, I want to make that deal with the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, and I think that this is the other side of the conversation. What are you going to have to take back to get a deal done surrounding Rudy? And taking taking Clint Capella back, I mean, while he's not some horrible player, he's also, again, not a big that I'm looking to, acquire. That's not who I'm looking to bring back. I mean, I didn't, the Jazz didn't call the Atlanta Hawks looking to get Clint Capella, so that's why I say this is kind of what I mean when I say the Jazz, as far as leverage is concerned, don't have a ton of leverage in these conversations, and that's the tough part. That's why I say if I'm a Jazz fan right now and I'm looking at all these rumors I'm hearing about Rudy and roster change, my biggest question is not who they're going to go and get. Like, yeah, that is a question, but I think the most important question is who are you going to have to take back? What baggage or garbage are you going to have to absorb to get these deals done? Because then ultimately, like we've discussed, you're going to have to move those players too. So that's why I say the question, it really boils down to, hey, yes, it will give you DeAndre Hunter and John Collins and a pick, but you're definitely going to have to take the Capella contract. So to me, if I'm Danny Ainge, it just simply comes down to, okay, are we good with that or are we not good with that? For me, I probably wouldn't be good with that. I don't think that I would probably ask for a bit less and not take Capella rather than getting every single thing I wanted and bringing more bad money onto the books. That would be where I would kind of come down on that.
Yeah, Clint Capella is a deal breaker for me. I'm not interested in it. And I understand, is the tweet machine fired up last night? People were telling me, oh, he's a double-double machine. I got that already in Rudy Gobert.
And a better version of it, by the way.
I have an all-time defensive presence in Rudy Gobert who also gives me double-double numbers every single night.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in double-double numbers. I'm interested in wing defenders. I'm interested in athletic players on the perimeter. I'm interested in guys who can play the paint and the perimeter. I'm interested in guys that can shoot the three. All of those things happen with the deal from Atlanta, with the exception of Clint Capella.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I don't believe that you can take on Clint Capella and John Collins. That money doesn't make sense. So for me, I again will say the most likely destination for Rudy Gobert is probably Toronto. I would bump Atlanta ahead of Chicago now, knowing that Chicago doesn't want to include Pat Williams, and I would put the Bulls third. And if I'm the Utah Jazz, man, I'm trying to make that Atlanta deal because I think it's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Collins and DeAndre Hunter in a first-round pick is better than OG Anunoby and Gary Trent from Toronto.
Yeah.
I do. And by the way, I still maintain if you can get a third team involved in this and you can move Mike Conley or Bojan Bogdanovic in that same deal, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather make fewer trades and trades that are more robust, that check more boxes, than have to make 3-4 deals to remake this roster.
Totally.
That's just my opinion.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
I feel like Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. I feel like Danny Ainge has the thing that comforts me so much is I feel like the Jazz have a plan this offseason. I always felt like Dennis Lindsey was just putting on the blinders and launching the plane off the ground.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, like just flying blind, bro. Hoping that I'm high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
And I think Danny Ainge has a plan and a vision for what he wants this roster to be. I think that's why he is certainly in no rush to hire a head coach, which I don't think he should be. I think you should wait for the finals to make sure that you can interview every candidate properly that you want to interview. I think that they're doing a really good job of interviewing guys like Jason Terry, guys like Terry Stotts. I think they're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how long this process takes. But if it's 2 months, if it's a month, if it's 2 more weeks, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Whatever it takes, because you got to get the draft and free agency right.
Well, and I think you got to get this summer, it's imperative that you don't make mistakes. I mean, this summer you really have to check all your boxes and you have to basically nail it because, again, remember what the stated goal is. Let's not forget this. The stated goal right now is to remake this roster but stay relevant. Stay a playoff contender, whatever that looks like, whether you got to go through the play-in to do that or you're a 5 seed or whatever. That's what they're saying that their goal is. So, again, that's what I'm telling you. When the first deal comes down, because inevitably that's going to happen. The first deal is going to happen. when you get that tweet, when you get the Woj bomb, read that Woj bomb and look at the back end of the trade. What did the Jazz have to take that they didn't want to take to get the deal done? Because that's ultimately what you're going to have to deal with as the season goes on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they wind up doing. I think the two main names that you've got to get value for in return are Bojan Bogdanovic and Rudy Gobert. Because I think those are the two guys that are most in demand on your roster. And I also think that Royce and Conley have limited value. I think that you're going to be able to flip Mike Conley probably for a second-round pick. I don't believe that you're going to get a significant player in return. Like for Rudy Gobert, you absolutely should be demanding a starter caliber, top 5 guy in return for Rudy Gobert. And if I'm the Jazz, I'm asking for 2 and a pick. But for a guy like Mike Conley, your value's lower. If you can include Royce O'Neal, I would do that. But again, if you include any notable player on the Jazz roster with Rudy Gobert, it's a $50 million trade.
Right.
And those are not the easiest trades in the world to make. It's far easier to trade $20 million than $50 million in this league. So you're going to have to figure out how to make that work. And that's why I ask, you cannot take back Clint Capella and John Collins and DeAndre Hunter in the same deal.
Yeah.
Because now what goes the other way? That's the biggest question. And I think, if it's a Bulls deal, okay, I can, that you can kind of understand, how we can make those numbers work, but not for Atlanta. Does Atlanta really have interest in a Royce O'Neal? Does Atlanta really have interest in a Mike Conley? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Atlanta essentially is trying to completely remake their roster outside of Trae Young, and I think they'd probably like to hang on to DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
But if you look at what Atlanta's doing, they're trying to get out from under the Collins and the Capella contracts. So you're going to take in return a Mike Conley? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right? So $8 million worth of Royce O'Neal, I'm fine with that. But does that deal make sense for Atlanta? Probably doesn't. You would probably like to take Rudy Gobert and a younger wing player, a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, for instance, a Trent Forrest, for instance.
Yeah.
But again, you got to make all these contract numbers line up. That's why when you look at John Collins' deal, he's got a massive extension he signed. You look at Clint Capella, I think he's got 2 more years guaranteed on his deal. There's something to be done with Atlanta, but for my money, it's got to include DeAndre Hunter. Herter, to me, it's
just a guy. It's not anything for the Jazz purposes. It's not. I'm not saying the guy Herter sucks, but
he doesn't.
But again, we're not looking for shooting. We're looking for wing defense and athleticism. That's what we're looking for, and that's why DeAndre Hunter has to be the priority. But that's why I say, this is what I mean. When we get into these conversations, and I know we've been talking about the Rudy situation a ton and different trade packages, and I'm sure it gets a bit repetitive, but the more I get into this, thank you. Crack the beer, because damn, if we're gonna need it today.
It's not a beer. It's
Rockstar beer.
It's a Rockstar recovery.
Whatever.
And by the way, there's an affiliate link for it below.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
So my point is that in all these conversations, the problem is the Jazz don't have that leverage. And so if frickin' Dennis Lindsey had signed Rudy to a $20 million deal, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even have this conversation.
Yep.
That's what I keep coming back to. And not to be, negative about it. I just am like, damn, dude, there's deals to be made. It's just the money that makes it difficult.
Well, you get excited because you hear the Jazz are involved in deals and conversations, but then you hear what those deals are, and all of a sudden it hits you when you say, damn. Well, it hits you that you're standing at the bottom of a very steep mountain.
Yeah. It's
not a hill anymore. It's a mountain you got to climb to get out from under the financial burden that Dennis Lindsey left behind. And that's why you're not – I don't know that anybody in this organization is excited to trade Rudy Gobert.
Right.
They're not excited, and nor should you be. Rudy Gobert's a quality NBA player. But it's something that has to be done. You have to trade Bojan Bogdanovic. It'd be nice if Bojan was your, a fourth guy. If he's your fourth option in a starter for you at the 3, okay, great. But that's not the reality of it. And when you're making the money he's making and you shoot at the percentage he shoots, he has value. That's a guy that can break off any team in this league for 40 points.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't done that in this system. And I think that's why, for my money, I think he and Rudy are the must move pieces. So we'll see. By the way, real quick, I want to talk about the uniforms.
Yeah.
Because we've been telling you this week that I've been hearing pretty repeatedly that there's going to be a strong retro flavor to the uniform announcement on Friday.
Uh-huh.
And pretty clearly that's what we're getting. I mean, the leaked images of the floor that has the mountain and the old purple colorway, and you're gonna get some mountain retro purple happening, right? We've known that for a week to 10 days. But what you're seeing now is that the real question, okay, well, you can't tell me that retro mountain feel is the full-time uniform. What's the full-time uniform? What's the daily driver here? Okay, I got my Ferrari, which is the Purple Mountains. I got the Rari, the Lambo.
Right.
I got the Roddy. Okay, cool.
Yep.
What's the daily driver uniform here? Because I'm pretty well convinced it's those black and white with, aqua fluorescent, terrible, my head hurts colorways and stuff.
Yeah, nah.
I'm pretty convinced that those are not good.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it seems to be unfolding here is that Ryan Smith wants to keep the heritage in the organization, but at the same time, he wants a new and very simplified, clean sort of look to, as you put it, the daily driver. And I think that I don't want to see the Jazz in lime green, man. That's not the Utah Jazz. Just stick to your colors. I understand if you want to go clean cut and with the graphics and everything for the regular full-time jersey, okay, I can kind of get down with that. But just please keep it in the white, blue, even green, that deeper green. I think that a lot of people did like that jersey. I wasn't one of them, but a lot of people did like that. And even if you want to go with the orange colorway of this past set of jerseys was one of the best ones. I mean, they were rocking those in the postseason, man. The fan base loved those. So I just hope that they stay true to the colorways of the uniform. I understand if the design is all new and something totally different, but just stay true to the colors. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
man. I think there's going to be, I think the Jazz are very smart business people. That Ryan Smith is not dumb. They've listened, and I think they've evolved. But it'll be interesting to see what's the full-time uniform.
I don't want the mountain colorway that we're seeing with the OG floor and the retro vibe. I don't want that to be an insurance policy for some garbage uniform on the
well,
day-to-day.
that's what it's starting to feel like.
Yeah,
that's what it's starting to feel like.
That's what I don't want.
Yeah,
and hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see. I mean, look, you can't have no organization out there has every single jersey is amazing. I mean, that's just not how it works. Even if you look at the iconic, organizations in the league, like the Bulls, that black pinstripe one, I'm not a huge fan of that one. I like the clean black one with the red letters, no pinstripes.
But see, the Bulls uniform, the black one with the red pinstripes is Jordan era throwback. That was one of his most popular uniforms ever. For the Jazz, how do you screw up white, purple, and gold with a little bit of green?
Yeah,
how do you screw that up? That's.
And to be fair,
I don't get that.
They haven't screwed it up yet, but I kind of feel like that's the direction we're heading.
Yeah, it could be. The black and yellow is the new practice jersey, Eric and Raleigh says. Let's hope so.
And if that's the case, fine.
Yep. Leonard, Don, and Endelove, first one in. Tanner Plummer, good morning to you. Spencer D says go Jazz. Steve Hambone. Mesh, good morning to you. Neville 93. Douglas Cook.
Hello, Douglas.
Hello, Douglas.
Do you prefer Douglas or Dougie?
Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
Dougie Fresh says, does chemistry matter?
Dougie Fresh.
That's just what comes to mind. Dougie Fresh says, does chemistry matter when it comes to having success in successful team in trading Rudy? Who would you bring good chemistry? Who would bring good chemistry and why? I don't know. I'm not a science teacher. The way I look at chemistry is it's developed over time. I mean,
yeah.
I think that that you need to change this roster. Chemistry will happen naturally. I mean, I just don't. I don't think you can worry. I mean, I'm not telling you to bring in a bad citizen. I'm not telling you to bring in one of the Morris brothers. But what I'm telling you is, I don't see John Collins as a chemistry problem. I don't see Nikola Vucevic as a chemistry problem.
Yeah.
I think what is a problem is you're not going to win games with the current roster.
Yep.
That's a far larger. And by the way, they had huge chemistry problems.
Yeah.
In the locker room this year. So, Doug, I think you have to do. I think the Jazz have to do better than what they have now, and I think they know that. Jeremy Bolton says hi.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, casual.
Hi.
Hi.
Sam Carden says, why not keep Gobert and Mitchell? Some rumors say Conley for LeVert in Cleveland. Then you can shop Bogey for Jeremy Grant. Well, Bogey isn't bringing Jeremy Grant to the Jazz.
Yeah.
He's not. And I don't know why. What is it that you've seen from Rudy and Don that makes you think that's a good idea? Because you have two guys who clearly their games don't mesh well together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty clear they don't enjoy playing together. And there's clearly internal issues with the way that locker room is structured. And it always starts and begins and ends and finishes with your stars.
Yep.
And there's chemistry issues in that locker room, camaraderie issues with Rudy and Don. And as long as they're in that room together, half the team's going to be on one side, half the team's going to be on the other. And that's just not the way you win championships.
Yeah.
It's not. There's not a guy in the Golden State Warriors locker room that's not happy for Klay Thompson. There's not a guy in the Boston locker room that's not rooting for Al Horford. Like, you don't have that on this team.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. JP Shanahan, good morning. You're back. What's up, JP?
Hello, sir.
How dare you take time off from this show? Dare you? I think Whiteside is a decent keep. I think he's a depth player. I would agree with that, BB.
But Whiteside is the same thing as Capella, and that's why you can't take Capella back. Because you already have a guy in Whiteside who fills that role, and that's why I say, like, yeah, I mean, is Capella? Could you make the case that Capella is a slight upgrade? Sure, you could make that case, but I just think for like monetary purposes and process purposes and efficiency, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just repetitive, and that's why I say, like, the whole situation is tough because, again, Danny Ainge, when Danny Ainge was with the Celtics, he had all the leverage in these conversations. He had talent, he had plenty to work with from the draft. Like, that's how he was able to put together huge deals and stuff. So to me, huge deals this time around are, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a 3-teamer surrounding Rudy. Like, I think ultimately what's going to happen is Danny's going to call these teams, Chicago, Atlanta, Toronto, like, he's going to call around and realize, we do need a third team. And now I got to put that third team together in this deal.
Yeah.
So that's how I think that process plays out. And maybe, hey, Danny's a legend at doing this. So maybe he already knew that there was a third team necessary, and that was his approach the whole time. But I just think that I will look forward to when the trade happens, because Jazz fans on Twitter are like, well, if they trade Rudy, it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of what that looks like at this point.
I don't know I don't know that Hassan Whiteside's an afterthought.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great shot blocker, but the guy is present on half the nights.
He's just a guy.
He is absent on most nights. Like, he is the guy. Frankly, the guy's an emotional wreck. Like, I don't see. He's just not a priority. I don't think.
Yeah.
And let's say that you make a John Collins Clint Capella trade, which I don't think is likely under any circumstance. I just don't know what value Whiteside has to you as a player for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though. Sean Carden says, saw an article online that the Cavs are interested in Conley.
I mean, look.
I mean, I'm sure they are.
If you want to trade, if you're saying to me, hey, Conley for Karis LeVert, okay, I'm interested. I am interested. I mean, I think LeVert has definitely some uses and some things. Though? But I don't know what he's making. Yeah, you have to look that up. But I like the prospect of getting younger and getting more explosive. I like that. However, it does come down to what he makes. So what
18.7.
So I mean, he's making similar money to Conley. I
But
mean, he's in the same
is that
ballpark.
is that even an upgrade for?
Well, it's definitely an upgrade from a health standpoint. I mean, he did come off a major injury, but I think that like he's going to be more reliable than Mike is.
I think Karis LeVert is a boy. Let's look at his. Karis is interesting. I mean, obviously he brings you.
I mean, he can play on the offensive end. He can get his own bucket.
He's all right. I mean, obviously he's much younger.
He's certainly not a downgrade to Mike Conley.
No, I don't. I just don't. It doesn't. I mean, last year he played. What is that? 59, 58 games. You know, I mean, he's average. I mean, he's a guy. He's a bucket getter. I mean, I don't. Is that a difference maker for you? I don't know. I'm probably keeping Mike at that point. Mike's. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't feel like a huge win for me. For Karis,
well,
like,
but would you rather get a player or a pick? Because you're not getting both.
I'd rather get a pick. That's why I said Mike Conley's a pick player. He's not a guy that you're like, oh, send me a play. You're going to trade Mike Conley, and somebody's going to take on his enormous number for his production, and you may get a second round pick out of that. You're not getting a first rounder out of that.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I think the problem with Mike Conley is it's not a problem to keep him on the roster. The money is crippling to you.
Yeah.
The money, and this is why you're going to wind up trading. You know, frankly, I'd love to keep Bojan Bogdanović on the team. I'd love to have him. But he makes good money, and he's got value around the league, and you're cash strapped.
That's the important part. He has value.
Yeah, that to me is the thing. Eric and Raleigh says the black and yellow is the new practice jersey. It better be. James Knight says, morning, lads.
Morning.
Eric says the Warriors build chemistry by having a clear leader in Draymond and good guys in Steph and Clay. Well, I'll tell you what. This decision coming up with Wiggs and Clay, this is a very difficult decision for Golden State. I think it's a very compelling conversation. I mean, you look at Klay Thompson. He has shown you flashes of his former self.
Mm-hmm.
But for obvious reasons, and understandably so, he looks to be a guy that's out of gas at this point.
Yeah.
Right? He looks tired.
Yeah.
But he's coming off of a major rehab stretch over the last several years. And they're still on pace to win 4 championships in 8 years.
Yeah.
But, man, Andrew Wiggins is on the verge of winning an NBA Finals MVP. He is giving you huge performance. Jake laughed at me saying that. I only said that.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
He's not that guy. He's not that guy, dude.
Okay, what are we going to bet that he wins the NBA Finals MVP? What do you want to bet?
I don't know.
Steph did not hit a 3.
Doesn't matter.
In the
dude.
pivotal
He put
game
up
5
one
of the
most
series.
Signature performances in the series.
Who cares?
He is the reason they're
Who's
here.
thinking about game 4 when he was 0 of 9 in game 5 and ended a 200-plus game streak of 3-pointers? And Andrew Wiggins had another big game.
Dude, this guy is.
But by the way, Andrew Wiggins, his offense isn't even why they're winning. It's his defense on Tatum. Jason Tatum, do you understand? In possessions guarded by Andrew Wiggins,
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is 13 of 55.
Yeah.
13 of 55.
Yeah, he's
Jason
playing good
Tatum.
defense. I'm not saying he's not playing well.
Motherfucker.
It's just
Hey,
Andrew Wiggins isn't winning a Finals MVP, dude.
He's
not.
So if you're so confident, confident,
I don't know what you want to bet. I'm not a gambler, as you so adeptly pointed out.
Jake just pointed out this morning. He walked in with a new feather cap, fur and feather on his hat because he got his commission check today from. I'm not afraid to die. Yeah, like you're out there being a G, dude.
Yeah,
you got all this bread laying around.
Yeah.
I just put out big money on a new piece of equipment yesterday for the show. You're out here buying hookers and wings.
Saudi stooge.
Yeah, I
am. You are a
I'm
Saudi
stooge,
money.
Man. I get it. Yeah,
Phil.
Yeah.
What? Put your money where your mouth is, man.
And, yeah.
Let's bet.
What?
$1,000.
No, I'm not betting $1,000 on Andrew Wiggins to not win the fucking MVP.
Why? You're so sure. Oh, Steph Curry. Steph, I'm slurping it deep. You're winning the Finals MVP.
Come on.
Oh, Steph, you're so sexy.
Come on.
I love you.
Okay, honestly, do people in the comments really think that Andrew Wiggins has a chance?
Oh, Steph. I don't remember KD. Oh. Where's your money, boy? Let's go.
No.
5 G's.
No.
Put a bet on it.
Wow, Dad. Wow.
No, I'm not doing 5,000 on the Finals MVP. Come on.
What do you want to bet? You haven't bought me a Father's Day gift, and you're not gonna. I should have left you on the shag carpet
Never.
back in Zion, Illinois.
Come on, guy.
Come
on.
You're a casual.
Yeah, come
anyway,
on.
point is, what do you want to bet?
I don't have an item that I want to bet. What do you want to bet? I don't know. Give me some ideas in the comments.
Okay, fine.
Ideas in the comments. What you'd like us to bet over
Fine.
Finals MVP?
Fine. Coward.
He's a bum.
He is. I agree, Aaron. Thanks.
I'd bet you 5 Guys for lunch, but you didn't want to do that. Oh, jerk.
You never brought up 5 Guys.
Andrew Wiggins, I think, is right now. If I had to put a percentage on Andrew Wiggins,
I swear to God,
what?
don't.
What?
Well, it's like 80% he's going to win the Finals MVP. He deserves it.
He does. I think
Okay. So that's how it's going to be.
that is how it's going to be.
No.
You're telling me that Andrew Wiggins doesn't deserve the NBA Finals MVP?
He may, but he's Andrew Wiggins. This is the nature of the beast. Like when LeBron and Kyrie were together, everyone was like, "Oh, well, Kyrie should, Kyrie deserves it." But I got news for you. Like LeBron, it's LeBron. Like Steph has carried them, bro. Like Steph has been. Yes, he struggled last game. Yes, he did.
But so did Wiggs in game 2. He had 11 points.
But
Right.
Wiggs offers defense. And so my point just is like, I don't know. Because you can't tell me. Here's my thing. You can't tell me the people who decide the Finals MVP aren't considering Steph's legacy.
But no, I'm not saying that. But here's the problem. Wiggins was 0 of 6 from 3 and still scored 26 points.
Yeah, and what did Steph have?
Steph Curry, he didn't even show up.
Yeah, that's because he was too busy shooting threes from the parking lot.
With you in the back seat.
Yeah.
In game 5, and this is the issue for Steph. When you're not hitting threes, people
Yeah.
think you don't contribute.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was 7 of, oh man.
Dude.
Are you sure you want me to bring this up?
Some shit happened.
7 of 22. 0 of 9 from 3. 3 rebounds, 8 dimes, 16 points.
Yeah, not his best performance.
Meanwhile, our hero, Andrew Wiggins,
I want more.
26 points and 13 rebounds.
Yeah, big boy double-double. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give him
$1,000.
credit. No, I'm not. giving you
$1,000.
$1,000. No, I'm not.
The next big Jordan release.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not doing it, man.
All right.
We got other
It's
things
fine.
happening.
James Knight says the loser wears a Rudy Gobert jersey for a week on the show. Stop it. And by the way, paying off a bet, bro, you haven't even sent us the Forex gold, James.
Yeah.
You have no say here, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
Shame.
you are out of your element here, Donnie.
Come on, dude.
Like, where's my Forex gold that you owe me like 36 times over? Anyway.
Good talk.
By the way, did you get me a Father's Day gift yet?
No.
Nope.
We're going to Roost Chris for dinner. Is
Still
that
hasn't
not
gotten me a
good enough
Father's
gift?
Day gift.
Is that
Still
not a good enough gift?
has not got me a Father's Day gift. My seed made you this good-looking
My
fellow.
seed.
And you still,
Donnie, you're out of your element.
and you still have not gotten me a
Come
Father's
on,
Day
guy.
gift.
Come on.
Wow, Dad. Wow.
It's
Am
too
I
far.
wrong?
That's too far, bro.
What?
That's too far.
Anyway, let's see. Andy Yu says it was so predictable John was going to pass to Carl that MJ was running towards 3 seconds prior to the steal. Listen, bro. Michael Jordan got over on the Jazz multiple times. It was not a push off. He stripped the ball from Carl, went down, scored a layup.
Oh, man.
And then he, got poisoned by pizza and still beat that ass.
Again.
Again.
And again.
No questioning that Jordan's amazing.
Is this the dagger?
The main flaw of the late 90s Jazz, Andy Yu says, I don't know how we got to the late 90s Jazz.
Well, because they're bringing out the retro floor. So,
The main flaw of the late 90s Jazz, no secondary scorer. Stockton and Hornacek was 9.5 points each. And yet they took Mike to the buzzer.
Yeah.
Now Mike won.
Again.
Flu game.
And again.
Anyway, I'll stop.
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Eric and Raleigh says the Warriors keep Wiggins and Clay. John Jackson says Father's Day gift. Jake, who's your daddy? Exactly
Wow.
right.
Wow.
He don't know, man. Tanner Plummer says this should be the bet. If Wiggins becomes Finals MVP, Jake has to give up his love of KD. If Wiggins doesn't win, Monty has to give up his love of Justin Hebert.
Justin Hebert.
Listen to me.
Bro, it should be give up your love of book.
Stop it.
I'm out of here with that.
Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point
right.
is, listen,
Right.
I want to strum Justin Hebert's abs like a banjo. And that's never going to change.
Right.
No matter what happens.
You want to?
Where did this show go? Jeremy Bolton says, I went to Five Guys the other day with my buddy, and it cost $45 for both of us. Screw that, but it
It's
was
ridiculous,
a really good
dude.
burger.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
But it was a really good burger.
It's ridiculous.
And
Yeah,
think
man.
about all the extra fries you got.
Bro.
Know what I'm saying? Eric and Raleigh says the Celtics offensive game plan is to attack Steph on defense, and they are exposing him. Well, I don't know what exposing Steph has to do with. No, I can't make a joke there. The point is Andrew Wiggins is taking advantage of that, and that's why he's going to win the NBA Finals MVP, sir.
Let's settle this right now.
$1,000.
No.
Let me know when.
No.
Hib says whoever loses does the next episode with their shirt off. Nah, I'm fine.
I'm
Andy
fine.
Yu says he was past his prime, but still a solid scorer. Okay. Eric and Raleigh says Kyler, huge contract, franchise killer for the Cardinals.
Oh, man, dude.
Kyler Murray.
Mm-mm-mm.
Little Kyler, as
Little
we
guy.
call him, and
Verticality.
he opened a restaurant called Verticality.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I made that up.
Right.
But anyway, my point is, yes, Kyler Murray's contract extension, Cliff Kingsbury,
The Clifster.
the Pimpalicious, another guy who's just goddamn
Mm-hmm.
on fire. But anyway, the point is, Kyler Murray, according to Cliffy, is getting the biggest contract in the history of the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
It will be taller if you print it on paper than Kyler is.
Right.
The point is, what has Kyler Murray done to earn that contract? Anybody? Name one thing. I'm waiting. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. That silence is because he hasn't done nothing. He ain't done not a thing.
Well, no, he did. He did. He threw it to the Rams in the postseason from his own end zone
Repeatedly.
again and again and again. He failed you at the most pivotal point in your season. He showed you an inability to win at the most pivotal point in your season. He showed you who he really is in the biggest moment. Because again, it's not just that they lost the game. I want to make this point really, really clear. It's not that you just lost the game. It's that you looked panicked. You looked unprepared. You looked like the moment was too big for you. Like, this isn't Joe Burrow, getting absolutely racked and breaking his leg, and he had to be out, and that's why, they didn't win. This is not that. This is you threw interception after interception and looked completely outclassed by a Rams defense. That's why you shouldn't get paid. That's why.
Well said. Mash says, without 43 points in game 4 from Steph, this series is over.
Agreed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Facts.
Wiggins is still going to. Problem is, game 4 was like a year ago now. Wiggins is.
Are the game's too spaced out? Is it taking too long?
Yeah, 2 days in between is too much because it's actually 3 days off.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you get to the game on Thursday night, you've been waiting 3 days. I think it's too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think whoever plays well or plays the best, especially if they clinch in Boston. Boston!
Be an iconic moment for
Which
Steph,
they
man.
will, I'm telling you.
You
But,
really think they will?
Yeah, I think it's over in 6.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics look gassed.
They do look
they
tired.
look tired.
Do you think that so and this is I think a really important question, all jokes aside, for Steph's legacy.
Oh.
If he comes in to Boston and puts up 40 in Boston to clinch the NBA Finals.
He wins the MVP award.
But does that, because this is an ongoing conversation, obviously. What is it going to take for Steph to get into the LeBron stratosphere because I don't think he's there yet. I don't think
I don't think it will
think
ever
he's in
happen.
LeBron's
The problem in this conversation is people hate LeBron.
right.
Like, for whatever reason, people hate him.
Right.
People love Steph and his wife, and he's wearing shirts that says she can cook, and his parents are dating a couple that they used to be best friends with, and
Right.
they got divorced, and dad's banging that wife, and mom's banging that dad, and
I'm a
people
fucking unit.
like Steph Curry.
Right.
And my point is, Steph's not the player that LeBron or Kobe was. And he doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
Is he a good player? Yes. Is he under-recognized for winning 4 championships in 8 years? Yes. Did he make Kevin Durant's legacy? Yes. We too easily want to say, well, Kevin Durant, that's the reason they won. Hey, jagbag, they won before KD got there. They won with KD, and they's about to win after KD.
So you better check yourself.
Just saying.
The point is, I think he's a really good player, but LeBron James is arguably the greatest player of the modern era.
Yeah.
Now, will that change? Sure. But you know the guy's legacy we should be talking about? Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum, you can't shoot air balls in the NBA Finals, bro. That's not...
Repeatedly,
You
by the way.
can't, like, Jason, I'm starting to wonder, and this is what I say about Book, and we talk about Devin Booker.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah. Yep.
I need a big game in a big game.
Yeah. Signature performance.
I need Jason Tatum to have 55 tomorrow night at home to send this back to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Don't think that's happening.
You need that dominant game out of Jason Tatum where whatever the number is, whether – because, again, and I've always maintained this, like, you know, a dominant 30 points can feel like you put up 55. You know, it's the way you go about dominating and controlling the game that really defines how we remember it.
I totally agree.
Look no further than, you know, again, LeBron.
No. Look no further than guys like Bobby Hansen and Steve Kerr and frickin' John Paxson and, you know, like who's Andre Iguodala, like these secondary players that make their legacies in the biggest moments of their careers.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins, MVP of the finals.
Come on.
Steph got so disrespected. You guys remember back in 2022 and Andrew Wiggins somehow, like, why do people hate Steph?
But no one's going to disrespect me.
They don't hate Steph. Andrew Wiggins. What happened was if Steph goes for like 40 tomorrow night in Boston,
That's an issue.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue, bro.
he's going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
If Wiggs goes for 40 and Steph is like, oh, my ankle hurts. Oh, that was a foul. And he's like 1 of 76 from 3. He's not winning the MVP, and you owe me $1,000 because that's the bet I made with myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, James Knight says the greatest shooter in the world can go 0 for 9 on Jake's pillowcase either.
Yeah, well, you know,
Is that where you got that pink guy?
I guess.
Jeremy Bolton says, I don't think people hate the player LeBron. People like me hate the person LeBron. Wow.
Agreed.
What did he ever do to you?
Well, it's what he hasn't done. That's
and that
the thing.
he is suddenly an expert on all things social. Dude only has a high school degree, and suddenly he's an expert on race and social issues. Dude is a bum.
Nah,
Okay.
come on. See, this is where you lose me.
Look, are we talking about Donovan Mitchell or LeBron James?
Yeah, talking about high school and college degrees mean nothing when it comes to social issues.
Totally meaningless.
Like, literally, it's a piece
High
of paper.
school and college degrees mean absolutely nothing about who you are as a
dude,
person.
Nothing. Now,
Wow.
Did you get a college degree for that burp?
I did.
Yeah, nice
Masters.
job, dude. Nothing, dude, you can sit here and talk about pieces of paper. The problem is the issue isn't what LeBron said or done. The issue is what he hasn't done. The issue is his ass was at the back of the BLM stuff, riding his bike with his boys, instead of being up front, being the voice of that movement.
Yeah, he was literally in Los Angeles during the riots. Him and Anthony Davis and some of his teammates were on bicycles at the back of the line.
What are you doing,
What are
bro?
you doing?
And again, we're not having a discussion. I'm not doing it today. And we're not reading the comments. I'm not having some long-ass discussion about whether you agree with BLM or whatever. We can have a discussion about LeBron and whether he should have participated, but I'm not here for, BLM is terrible. Like, I'm not here for that
LeBron
today.
James, by all accounts, is a great friend and a great father and a great husband and a great philanthropist.
Right.
The things he's done with the school, the things he's done to send kids to college. LeBron James is not a bad human being. Do you align with him philosophically? No. But this is what I always say about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has the right to talk about critical race theory.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell has the right to advocate for underprivileged people. And the idea that you would hate him because of that is mind-numbing to me.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everybody on everything, most people on everything. I don't. I am a free spirit. Most people don't like me for the way I feel about politics or sex or, Justin Hebert's abdomen. But it is what it is. We're all individuals. And the problem is we hate LeBron because LeBron's elite.
Yeah.
LeBron's living the life that a lot of people believe they deserve
Dude's
but
a
have not
billionaire.
earned.
Dude's a billionaire
I mean, why do we not hate Tiger Woods?
who recently became a billionaire.
Why do we not hate Tiger? Tiger has done nothing but be a moral disaster.
Because what did Tiger do? Tiger was busy, getting after a Perkins waitress and doing all the things that we as dudes glorify. That's why we don't hate Tiger.
But why do we not hate Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan refuses to talk about social issues. Why do we not hate Michael Jordan? Well, we don't hate Michael Jordan because he's elite, but yet he doesn't put himself out there. So a guy like LeBron, who's elite and puts himself out there and gets involved in politics. And by the way, why is Laura Ingraham telling him to shut up and dribble? Because he matters.
Yep.
He matters. He's relevant. That's why you hate LeBron James.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Blind Swordsman DS says, James, you're nasty. James Knight, you're nasty.
The hell did James say?
Talking about man seat on a pillow.
Oh.
Eric and Raleigh says, lived experience is way more important than institutional education.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Street smarts over book smarts all
Karen
day.
Montemayor says, where is my free casual shirt? May I speak with your manager? No, you can't, prick. Get out.
Okay. So that's how it's going to be.
Can I speak with your manager? Yeah,
hey,
you're talking to him.
By the way, I had another manager experience yesterday.
Really? What happened? Tell us. Quickly, before we get to,
My
nice stuff.
Chipotle burrito was not rolled.
Hell. Did you go in or did you go through Chipotle?
Chipotle. Did I complain? No. I just ate it. And it fell all over the place. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I didn't complain.
You weren't a Karen about it.
I handled it with class and dignity.
Too bad.
And I was too lazy to call them because you can't actually call the store.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Andy Yu says, if LeBron really cares about social justice, sacrifice some shoe money for child labor.
Here we go. I'm so tired of this, dude.
No, I can't. Andy, with all due respect, I can't. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. LeBron left after 2 titles.
Yeah. Well, and this, but see, this is the thing. LeBron's got 4, I think. Does he have 5? Or is it 4? I think he's
4.
got 4, right? Steph's about to have 4. So, from a championship perspective, it's going to be even, assuming they win.
Yeah. Perception's reality.
Yeah, man.
Flu game Jordan was hungover. Haha. Well, could be.